Hello, hello, and good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk. It is so good to be here tonight. I really missed you guys last week. I hope everyone had a awesome holiday weekend and celebration. Hope you had an opportunity to enjoy time with friends. So guys, come on in tonight. Come on in, because we have a very important topic that we're going to be discussing tonight. And we're going to be talking about the political discourse in America. Y'all excuse me, got a little something in between my teeth. But anyway, got that taken care of. So guys, come on in and make yourself at home, make yourself comfortable. And as you come in, as always, I would like to ask that you would please let me know that you're here. Give me some thumbs up, give me some hellos, give me some highs. Let me know you're here. And then also please like and share the video and let your friends all know that Juju is on the air tonight. And like I said, we're having a very important discussion tonight. So I hope that you all will come on in and join in the discussion. You know, right now is like, it seems like situation critical here in these United States, and we need to talk about what's going on in order to deal with it and hopefully change our discourse, kind of bring down the temperature level a little bit. So come on in, guys, come on in the room, come on in, and as you come in, let me know you're here. Give me a hello, give me a shout out, say hey to me, let me know that you're here. Hello, Miss Janatica Holmes, how are you doing today? Hello, Miss Tiffany Williams, how are you guys doing today? Thank you for joining me tonight for Let's Talk. Please, as you come in, like and share the video. How are you doing, Miss Janatica? Hope you're having an awesome day. What's up, Miss Tiffany? Did Duchess get a chance to play her Roblox, whatever it is that she was pouting so bad about today? But come on in, guys. Come on in. And like I said, get prepared for an in-depth discussion, and like and share the video as you come in. Please make sure you like and share the video, because this is a very important discussion that we're going to be having tonight. So share this with your friends, invite some of your friends in to join in the discussion. Hello, Jamila, how are you doing, baby girl? How's everything going? How's school and work and life? Is everything treating you very well? Tell everybody they better not mistreat my girl, because you one of mine, and you know how your Aunt Judy get when it comes to her and hers. She don't be playing around with that kind of carrying on. But anyway, y'all come on in and join in on the discussion. I thank you all so much for joining me with Let's Talk. And like I said, tonight's discussion is a very important one. Hello, Mr. Andrew Page. How are you doing, Andrew? Thank you for joining me. Amberly Wright, how are you doing, Amberly? How's everything going? Amberly, my baby is down there with you guys now, so you better be taking care of my baby. Y'all don't be mistreating her, okay? Y'all better be taking care of my Genia. All right, then. Adrielle Joyce Vincent, that's my baby, if you didn't know. But anyway, y'all guys, come on in. And as always, I like to ask if you would please do me a big favor. Like and share the video as you come in. Like and share the video as you come in. Tonight is a very important discussion. Very important discussion about the political discourse in our country right now. And I know Mr. Page, we were supposed to do the discussion about the complex views, America's complex views on gender identity, and I promise you that we're going to get to that. But in light of the the occurrences over the last 24-30 hours in our country, I thought it would only be right if we discuss this political discourse tonight. So I promise you, Andrew, we're going to get to your topic because that is one that I want to discuss as well. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Make yourself comfortable. And as you come in, please, please, please like and share the video. Give me a hello. Let me know that you're out there with me watching. Mr. Jackson, if you're out there, I don't see you, so give me a hello or whatever it is that you need to do to let me know that you're there. Request to come on to the screen to join in tonight, but tonight is going to be a very important discussion. Yes, Andrew, I just thought that this was really important today, but we're going to get to your discussion because I think that's a very interesting one. Thank you so much for understanding. Hello, Mr. Jackson. How are you doing this evening? Let us hopefully get you in here with no trouble tonight. We're not having any trouble. I got me a new router. I got me some pods. And so we should be good. If not, then there you go. There you go, Mr. Jackson. How are you doing this evening?
Doing very well, thank you. I am warm, hot. I'm not tired, but
You're not tired? Okay, let me see if it's just me or everybody else. Can y'all hear Mr. Jackson? He sounds very muffled to me. Hey, Auntie, everything is going well on my end. Thank you for asking. Yes. Can I get some Miss Andrew or Tiffany? Can y'all hear Mr. Jackson very well? Because he's muffled on my end, and it may just be on my end. You hear him? Okay, so it may be on my end. Let me see if I need to turn this up. Talk to me, Mr. Jackson.
okay. So I'm sounding muffled.
I can just barely hear you. I can now.
You're
Tiffany
sound.
says she hears you, and so it may be me.
I hear you very well.
You hear me very well. Let me see. Um, I hear you guys. Andrew says he hears us, so it must be something on my end, and I'm not. I need to see what's going on with my volume. Because I want to be able to hear everything you saying, Mr. Jackson, because I might have to cut you off. So I need to make sure I can hear you. Uh,
Well, don't start, nothing won't be nothing. How about that?
okay. Okay. Let's
I'm
see.
glad.
Okay. Darlene Todd. Hello, Miss Darlene Todd. How are you doing? Welcome to Let's Talk. Thank you for joining us this evening. Fiddle faddle. Let me see. Ta 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 ta. Wonder what's going on with my volume. I can hear you typing. I can't hear you talking. Say something else, Mr. Jackson.
So you can hear me typing, huh?
I can hear you typing. That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
This looks a mess here.
Okay.
This stuff hanging.
I don't know what. And Andrew, I'm probably making the voices skip. Hold on. yourself a second.
Lady,
Okay, we're
get
gonna go
started.
ahead and we're gonna get started. Let me see if I can get some volume going on here because I really am. Oh Lord, then I done jumped off the screen. Lord, now I'm really showing out. Okay, now that's not good. Okay, I'm trying to see if I can get me. But then that's behind, so I don't really want to do that. Okay, but anyway, all right. Well, let's just go ahead and get started. Maybe my volume or do something. I don't know what's going on with my volume, but anyway, welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk. I am your host, Juju, and I'm coming to you live this evening from my living room. Each week on Let's Talk, we will discuss current events and their impact on the Black community. We will also highlight local Black-owned businesses, local entrepreneurs, local artisans, local nonprofits, and upcoming events which will give small businesses an opportunity to showcase their products. Let's Talk is created to be a positive, uplifting, and informative discussions. All constructive opinions are welcome, as we must learn to listen to and consider the opinions of others, even if we don't agree with them. However, this isn't a place to tear down anyone, but to uplift and to enlighten. Therefore, if your comments are not coming from a place of love, and if they're not intended to uplift and to enlighten, we kindly ask that you please find another forum to express them. Please note that any opinions that I may give are strictly my opinions. This isn't intended to be a news show. However, we will try our best to steer clear of gossip and things that are knowingly untrue. It is my sincere hope that everyone finds this a safe place where you feel comfortable sharing your opinions. And that is especially true on tonight. About your host, I am simply a sinner saved by grace. Every good and perfect part of me comes from God. Therefore, I praise Him and I give Him glory anytime I'm given the opportunity. My motto is I am walking by faith, inspiring hope, and showing love all along the way. Let's Talk is produced by my dear brother and friend, Mr. Jerry Jackson, who always has my back. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. All that being said, let's talk. Tonight's show was scheduled to focus on America's complex views on gender identity. However, in light of last night's assassination attempt on a former president, I think it is only appropriate for us to discuss the current political discourse, the political atmosphere. How far is too far when it comes to criticizing your political opponents, and have we crossed the line? So tonight, I really just want us to have an open and honest discussion. We want to allow you to express your feelings, your concerns, your fears, and your opinions. We want you to get out any frustrations you may have, but please be mindful that everyone is entitled to their opinion, and we will treat everyone with respect, even if we don't agree with them, okay? All righty then. Um, Before we go any further, I would like to ask everyone to please like and share the video, the show. Like and share. Invite some friends to join this very, very important discussion This is a discussion that we need to be having, and we need to be having it all across the nation, because the political discourse and the political atmosphere is so toxic right now. It is not good for us. It's not good for this nation. It's not good for any of us. So we need to be having this very, very, very important discussion right now. Um, Hello, Miss Cassandra Clifton. Thank you for joining. Hello, Jared Benson. Thank you for joining us tonight. And icebreaker for tonight. After last night's shooting, how are you feeling? Do you think that the incident will lead to other violent incidents, or do you feel that this will help calm some of the toxic and nasty rhetoric? How's everyone feeling after yesterday's attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump? Hey, Sharonda, how are you doing? Hey, Jeanette Smith, how are you doing? Welcome everyone to Let's
Julia.
Talk. So,
Um,
um,
Julia.
I I can't hear you, Mr. Jackson. What is
Well,
going on?
well,
What do
can
I have
you
on?
can you see?
Um,
I posted the question in the chat, but I don't. I see it on my end, but no one is responding. Can you see um,
uh,
the?
same. I see after last night's shooting, how are you feeling? Yeah, I see the question.
Okay.
Hello, Althea, how are you doing? I got to figure out why you muted, Miss.
Am I muted or am I
You're not
muffled?
muted. You're just really, really low. I can really just can't even hardly hear you at all, and I don't know
Hmm.
what that is. But anyway, so how's everybody feeling after after yesterday's shooting of former President Donald Trump? Is anyone afraid? Do you have fears? Are you angry? Are you frustrated? Are you worried? What are you feeling? Um, and Cassandra says she can hear you fine. It's me, Jerry, and I don't know what it is. That I can't hear you. It's something I got going on with my
Okay.
my
Um,
my volume, and I don't know what it is.
well,
There you go.
okay. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Well, while we're waiting for our viewers to post in chat how they're feeling, and we want you to be very honest and very transparent and open. I, after I learned of what transpired, I was flabbergasted. I,
Flabbergasted and gasted.
yes,
Okay.
I am not surprised because of the rhetoric that has been presented all during this pre-election, the post-election, after Biden was sworn in. We saw all of the destruction that happened on January 6th, and it has just been very heated throughout everything that we've done. I've seen the country being so divided
Mhm.
at a
Mhm.
point that I've never ever witnessed. We're so divided that we are now seeing things that's happening in the workplace, in our subdivisions, everywhere where people are
Mhm.
acting out of frustrations and anger. And
Okay.
we have
Okay.
been made to feel that it's okay to do these things because
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
what we
Mhm.
see from some of our leaders. And
Okay.
the key word
Okay.
is some. So I as I have thought about this, I keep hearing a lot of comments concerning, well, we're in a dire straight. We're in a
Mhm.
bad
Mhm.
situation. This is horrible.
Mhm.
This is awful that someone tried to assassinate the president. But on the
Mhm.
other hand,
Mhm.
while we're condemning this action, there was no condemnation on January 6th. And I'm still trying to understand why all of a sudden there's a lot of condemnation now, and it was more of a protection on January 6th, and people are trying to make that seem that it's okay.
Mhm.
And it's not okay because that's a threat to our democracy
Mhm.
and to our justice system.
Okay.
And I don't care
Okay.
who I don't care who you're rooting for, whether you're red, you're blue, you're a Dem, you're a Repub. It does not matter. I don't condone violence and of any sort.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I think that we should be able to agree to disagree. I
Mhm.
think that we can come to the table and have some very heated discussions, and that's what politics is all about.
Mhm. Mhm.
You have heated discussions, and you try to sell your position versus the other position.
Mhm.
So I am feeling um, the same way that I felt when Joe Biden first was um, sworn in as our leader. The country began to, I saw it being polarized when President Obama
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
president.
Yeah.
It
And
became
and
polarized,
yeah,
and
I think it
now,
did become very polarized. It did start
yeah,
at that point, and right now it has gotten to a much worse state. I have heard a lot of people say that it has not been this polarized since the civil rights
right.
movement back in
And
the 60s.
we've got some comments in the
Yeah,
chat. So
yeah,
let
okay.
me let me let me pay attention to those. But I was trying to make my point. I know I'm long-winded, but I've got so much I want to say. So let me
We
finish my
only
point.
got 1 hour, Mr. Jackson.
And I told you before we came on here, I already told you. I gave you forewarning.
You
I did.
did give me forewarning. Okay, let's see
Let me
what the
let
chat
me
says.
get my point out, and then we're gonna go to chat. I am almost to the point of being disdained with our government because if we're going to allow for things like this to happen, and we get so tunnel vision that we can't see the entire process of what's happening, I am disdained. So we've got a comment from Tiffany Williams that says, I honestly don't know how to feel. I agree with Jackson that I'm not surprised. I'm being a little more aware when I'm out in public since I am black, um, especially with a black woman, especially with my children.
Mhm.
Sharonda states very frustrated, anger, and entitlement. I, from Laura Johnson, she says, I think you reap what you sow. God gave
Mhm.
Pharaoh 7 warnings to let his people go. Maybe that's warning number one. What I haven't heard was Trump say, thank you, God, that my head is still attached to my neck. I'm just saying. So quite naturally, there are so many different
And,
feelings that we're
and
seeing.
wait a minute now. We got Cassandra Clifton. Do you see
No,
her?
I do not, and I
Okay,
apologize.
so
Hey, Cassandra Clifton, my friend and my wonderful University of Alabama alumna.
uh-huh.
I don't
Okay,
see her comment. Go ahead
okay.
and tell
Well,
us.
her comment was attempted assassination is very serious, but Orange Mango is such a sociopathic, pathetic, pathological liar that we have a hard time not believing it was staged.
Oh my God,
You
I have to keep
can't
my.
put nothing past him. Okay. All righty then. So, I kind of feel, me personally, in this moment, a little fear because I'm kind of personally waiting for the next shoe to drop. my prayer would be that this would encourage people to tamp down the rhetoric. But right after this happened, of course, we saw uh, Trump how pumping his fist, saying "fight, fight, fight." Okay, right in the midst of this, when the Secret Service are literally putting their body between yours and your body and a bullet, you're saying, you pumping your fist saying fight, 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 encouraging to me more violence. And then also the Sun comes out with the statement, we're not going to let the extremists left run us away or scare us. So I don't know that it will be something that will help us. Maybe it hadn't sunk in yet. And maybe at that time that was just instinctive for Trump and his son.
Julia,
But yes,
Julia,
yes,
what
sir.
do you mean by instinct? Actions speak louder than words,
That's
and what I say,
instinctive. Maybe that's
that
their
that's
instinct.
who they are.
Yeah,
Okay, and
your
uh,
instinct, and but maybe once you think about things, you say like Laura said, "Hey, Laura, how you doing, boo?" Um, you think about things, and you come to a point where you say, "Okay, maybe God is trying to tell me something. Maybe
well,
I do need to tamp this down." But let me ask you guys this. This is another question.
Lord Jesus.
Okay, what, you don't want me to ask questions, Mr. Jackson?
Well,
We
because you wanted
everybody
to,
have opportunity to express their
I
opinions.
know, but I
What?
wanted to. You brought up a point, and I didn't want to move past that
Okay,
point. When
what
you
was that
said
point?
the son brought up that he did not want the leftists. What was his statement that the
The
leftists to
left
run them
wing
away? The
extremists,
left,
some
well,
to
the
that effect.
person,
Mhm.
from my understanding, the young man was a registered Republican.
Yes.
So that's going to repudiate all of their abilities to say that it was sponsored by the left wing or the Democrats. So I wanted to make sure that we brought that up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We want to make sure we put the facts out there as much as we know them to be factual.
Hmm.
That's one thing that causes, I think, some of this problem is we don't deal enough in facts. A lot of times people just say things and we don't look to see if it's true or not, and we go on with the propaganda, and that's something that we have to make sure that we try to avoid, and deal in facts and not in subjections and suspicions, and then sometimes downright lies. But anyway,
Live.
um, what has happened to civility in America? As far as you're concerned, where does the blame for the deep political divide in our country lie? Does it lie with the Democrats? Does it lie with the Republicans? Does it lie with both? Is it more politician specific? The news media, does it lie with the news media, or is it a combo case? What is fueling this deep divide in our country? As far as you guys are concerned, what is fueling the deep divide in our country? Because we cannot deny that there is this deep divide, and it's dangerous, very dangerous at this time. So what do you guys think? Where does the responsibility or the blame lie for this deep divide in our country? Hello, Adrielle. How are you doing, sweet pea?
So Tiffany says America was founded with the lack of civility.
This is true.
Um,
This is true. And we can't deny that. And that's one thing we have to do. We have to tell the truth. We cannot be afraid of the truth. So we have to tell the truth, and we have to hold our leaders and our We have to hold them responsible for telling the truth. And the media, we have to push them to make sure that when people are not telling the truth and the media knows it's not true, they need to check them right there. Don't go back and fact check it later after someone has already ingested the lie and gone on with it. Fact check them right there, because us not telling the truth is a dangerous part of the situation, what we're dealing with. Go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Um, we don't have another response, but you're absolutely correct about the fact checking. But I blame the the consumer, the voters, the people. They're hungry for information, and they love um, false data. In the media continues to give us snippets of certain pieces of information,
Mhm,
and then all we hear is what the media has provided us. So
mhm,
we've got to be
mhm.
very careful to always vet what is being placed before us. And Laura
Exactly.
said, and Laura says Trump promotes violence. He
Mhm,
enjoys the disarray the country finds itself
mhm,
in, mostly because of the rhetoric he spreads.
mhm,
None of it makes sense. Trump shouldn't be allowed to run for president anyway. And Tiffany says, and people do not hold others accountable for their actions, failure to act, and their words. That is
mhm.
absolutely
Yeah.
very good point
And
from.
words are very dangerous, and powerful. We have to realize how powerful words are. And I know when Trump first became president and first started running, and people would just dismiss, oh, well, he's just saying that. He doesn't really mean those things. But we have seen how powerful his words are. So when do we get to a point, especially the media, of holding him accountable for his words and saying, no, this is not right? Okay, and I personally, now, I think it's awful that a person would uh be inclined to go kill another person, period. Point blank, period. But then you look, like you said, Mr. Jackson, Donald Trump said about the January 6th rioters, those were patriots. And they were chanting, hang Mike Pence. For me, that's attempted assassination of the vice president. And they were looking for Nancy Pelosi. They wanted to hurt her. Attempted assassination of that then Speaker of the House. And so we can't and the media now doesn't bring that back to our reminder, because we are so undone and want to be so politically correct about what's going on now. But we have to tell the truth about it. Okay, you have fostered an atmosphere of hate, an atmosphere of hate. And when you sow those seeds of hatred and discord, you do not, please do not be surprised when they come up in your own yard. Because if you're throwing them out, you have no control over it. And I know we got a lot of comments. Go ahead.
Okay, so Janotica Holmes says, as she is not here to try to really vocally say how she feels either way, but one thing she does know for sure is that on January 6th, there was not any denouncing of violence. However, on July 13th, President Biden immediately took to the podium to denounce and condemn the violence. Um, that
Exactly.
is absolutely the truth. And I have the wonderful privilege of attending Ebenezer Baptist Church here in Atlanta under the leadership of Dr. Raphael Warnock.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing he got up and said when he took the rostrum. He said, we need to pray. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care whether you are blue, red, dim, repub, right or left, we need to pray. We don't condone any attempt of violence
Mhm.
whatsoever. We don't
Mhm.
believe in it, and we rebuke what tried to transpire
Mhm.
yesterday. And we are going
Mhm.
to pray
Mhm. Mhm.
for our former president.
Mhm.
And it was unbelievable how that set the tone of worship in the church.
Mhm.
So he immediately, to Janatica's point, immediately stood up in front of the church of a packed house and denounced what transpired yesterday. And
Okay.
so I appreciate what Janotica has said. She says, and as a human, you see Trump coming off stage despite what all he's done. You don't want to see anyone coming off the stage bleeding. I no longer saw him as who he was, but as a human. And that made me not want that for even Trump. Janotica, I totally agree. I don't agree with a lot of things of President Biden. I don't agree with a lot of things of former President Donald Trump, but I would never wish ill concern on anyone. That is very inappropriate and it's not the right thing to do. And Tiffany Williams says, vote, vote, vote. Our life depends on it. And I wish, Tiffany, that so many others felt the way that you did. We have got to encourage and educate our people on the importance of sharing their voice.
Mhm.
One
Mhm.
vote does count. It is
It does.
important.
It does. And Mr. Jackson, I did want to say, um, like Janotica said earlier, she didn't want to express her opinion, but that's what we're here for because we have to learn to listen to others. We don't have to agree. See, that's the thing. We don't have to agree, but we can disagree without being disagreeable. You and I can have a different point of view, a different perspective. We can see things totally differently, but we don't have to hate each other. We don't have to demean each other. We don't have to be nasty to each other. And that's the thing about former President Donald Trump. And Laura, you are so right. The Bible says, Galatians 6, 7, and 8, be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. And it's not me wanting that for him. That is what he is obviously wanting for himself if he is sowing those seeds. And as a Christian, we have to realize that the word of God is true. God says he's going to watch over his word to perform it. So whether it's good or bad, whether you're just or unjust, God is watching over his word to perform that word. And we have to be
Okay.
mindful of that. And then also, like I said, again, we have to make sure that we are knowing the truth, telling the truth, living the truth, holding people to that standard. And you can't be afraid to stand up and say, this is not right.
Okay.
This is not true.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. We've got a comment from Darlene Todd that says, I don't believe in violence, but I do think yesterday was staged. I hope it wasn't, but if you look at Trump and his facial expressions says a lot.
Well, I pray that no one would go through to that extent. I really pray, that that was not staged. I don't know that it was. I don't know that it wasn't. It never crossed my mind. That never crossed my mind that it was staged. But a lot of people are saying that now, but it never crossed my mind because that would be a heck of a price to pay. Two people lost their lives, and then two people are still fighting for their lives. So I would hope, I would pray that no one would stage such an event as that. Hello, Gladys. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. All right, guys. Do you all think that racism plays a part in the deep political divide in our country? And if so, how? How so? Do you think that racism plays a part in our a deep political divide?
And
And
Julia,
if
while
so,
we're waiting,
how?
and while
Yes.
we're waiting on the responses, it's in the chat. Um, I think there's a huge myth out um, in our country that all Black people are Democrats and that we support Democratic views. Um, well, I'm a very conservative individual, okay? But I also align my beliefs with the person that meets my beliefs. And I have found on many occasions that my beliefs align with the Democratic Party because I'm a huge advocate of taking care of the poor, the widows, those that are less fortunate. I am really big on that. I'm not saying that we need to be a social society, but the poor is going to be with us always. And what are we going to do with them? So there are a lot of policies that align the majority of the policies that that coincide with my beliefs are from the Democratic side, but there are also some wonderful policies on the Republican side. The Republicans that I know that what they believe in, the Republican Party is not what they used to be. So therefore, I don't hide the fact that I voted for a Republican before, but I choose the person and not the party. And
Okay.
so
We have a
I'm looking to see
statement
if we
from
have any. I don't
Cassandra.
see any.
You
Okay,
see, Cassandra Clifton has a statement, and it
I don't
says, "As
see it.
much as I did have as much disdain as I have for Orange Julius, he is just a symptom of deep-rooted hatred, racism, and discrimination America has had for many non for any non-melanated. The cult would not thrive so strongly if he were not speaking what he knows is in some of not most of America's heart. The trumpets know he is unfit. The Southern Christian know he is wrong. We know Joe is aging. The greatest fear of the right and the left is Kamala will become another black president if Joe is elected and steps aside after being elected. Okay. And Darlene says there are some black people that are Republicans. Yes, I agree, Jerry. There are some great policy on both sides. Janonica says that that's an educated, informed voting, Jerry Jackson. Adrielle says lack of love and empathy has created the divide in this country. This is a us versus them mentality that leaves no room for compromise and even basic levels of respect. Trump is the personification of what is wrong with America. Greatly said, Adriel. Greatly said. Um, Trump is a personification of what is wrong. And I have to agree with you too, Cassandra, that if it's not in us, no one can bring it out. Okay. So if that hatred and racism and vitriol were not already in us, um, we couldn't bring it out. However, I do think that without Trump, a lot of these um, people who are out spewing this hatred and doing hateful and violent things and would just slither back under their rocks where they have been hiding, and which is a good place for them, back under their rock where they have been hiding. And this is not really about, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. For me, I am a moderate voter, and I have not I don't really see any good policies on the Republican side, but I am a moderate. I do consider myself moderate. I'm not an extreme leftist, but that's neither here nor there. Um,
We've got a
do you think?
comment.
Okay, what's the comment?
We have a comment from
Okay.
Janaka that says, what's in you will come out. And that's what we are seeing. And
Yes.
she says, Trump has given those people the courage to let it come out of them. And
Exactly.
I have to
Exactly.
agree with that. And
Exactly.
I think we misconstrue some things when we think that it has not always been in them. It's always there. There are
I don't.
so many
I don't
things
think.
inside of us
I don't
that
think
all it does
it's.
is it just
I don't
let me
think
get my
we
point.
think it's not. It hadn't always been in them because, somebody can't make you think what you. I mean, make you feel what you don't feel.
True.
And we know that, so we know it's been in there, but Trump gave them a license to let it come out because before,
That's
since
my
the civil
point.
rights movement, we had had the mentality that that's not, you don't say that, so you can't say those things. You can't think that is not okay to think. So it was suppressed. And sometimes, you have to suppress some things. I mean, because there are things in us that we have to suppress, that we can't get rid of. Paul prayed 3 times. Jesus said, "No." God said, "No, I'm not going to get rid of it. You suppress it." So there are some things that we have to suppress. And people had suppressed a lot of those feelings. But Trump to make them think, no, there's nothing wrong with you being a racist. There's nothing wrong with you hating people. There's nothing wrong with you mocking a disabled person. Come on.
Well,
Hello, Connie. How are you doing? Next, so let's just move on to our next question. Um, do you think that the way the media covers politics contributes to the fact that we're such a divided country? Do you think the media plays a role in the division?
okay, we've got comments.
Okay.
So Laura Johnson says, and I want you to check for Andrew and Cassandra as well.
Okay.
Laura Johnson says, nothing we do seems to matter. Watching Trump instigate January 6th, insurrection, steal documents from the White House, charged with defamation of character of Jean Carroll, I think was her name, and a Supreme Court that gives him immunity for the insurrection. Why should we believe in this system that does not believe in us or what's right? Then Janotica says, is this a Christian show? Because I saw a t shirt that said, don't let your president get your blank whooped. But for real, it was when he became president, it was courage juice. And Janotica says, don't read my last.
Well, we Christians, but we real too, Janotica. So we just gonna keep it real, okay? But I need to go back to that because Laura asked the question, and we why should we believe in the system? It's what we have. Number one, it's what we have, and if you search the world over, it's probably the best one in the world. That's why we are fighting so hard to try to keep it. I mean, and they're fighting so hard. There are forces fighting so hard to try to turn it into something different than what it is. But at the end of the day, Laura, what we can trust in, the Bible says some trust in horses, some trust in chariots, but I will remember the name of the Lord. And so when all else fails, we have to remember the name of the Lord and we have to call on him. But we have to work within the system to try to make these changes because it's all that we have. And I heard someone say, I was talking to them today, and they were talking about the difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And I think it's a blessing and a curse, like Mark says. The Democrats are more idealistic. We're very idealistic. We think, okay, I may not necessarily agree with you, but I think you have a right to your opinion. You have a right to live your life, your lifestyle. I'm not trying to intrude on you. I'm trying to make it all work. How can we all work together? Republicans are more my way or the highway, and they're very cutthroat. They will do whatever they think they need to do in order to get their way. And because the Democrats don't operate in that same vein, sometimes it seems like Republicans win over, but all it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. So we can't afford to do nothing. We have to be willing to stand up and fight. Hello, Shantarsha. How are you doing? So we have to be willing to stand up and we have to be willing to fight. And we have to be willing to stand up sometime in the face of great opposition. And sometimes you got to be willing to stand by yourself. But if you're standing on the right thing, you're doing the right thing, then you're never standing by yourself. I don't believe. I believe God is always standing with me when I'm doing what He would have me to do. But yeah, this system can be disheartening. Things can be disheartening, but we can't be discouraged, and we definitely can't be discouraged to the point where we give up, we quit, we stop participating. Uh, we have to vote. We have to vote. We have to take every opportunity that we have. We have to take every opportunity that we have to share the truth with people. Let them know. Uh, Register people to vote. Let them know the facts. I mean, you hear things, Donald Trump go on television and say, I've done more for black people than anybody since Lincoln. Black employment was lower under me than at any other time. No, that's a lie. It's been lower under Joe Biden. Uh, uh, um, what else? Just I've given more to HBCUs. No, you gave what? A part of $90 million, and Joe Biden has given 16 billion with a billion dollars to HBCUs. I mean, all these things, but we have to know the truth. And then when we catch people repeating those lies, you got to come to them with the facts because you have so many people lining up behind Donald Trump to vote for him because he's lied to them. He's the great deceiver, great deceiver. But
So,
if you just hear that and don't check your facts, you'll believe it.
so what are they? Why are they voting? Why are they so encouraged to want to vote for him? What is
Because
it
he
that?
told all these lies, Mr. Jackson. He tells a plethora of lies. He don't care. There is no limit to the amount of lies that he will tell. And the fact that we as voters, not just black people, but we don't go and check the facts. And we get our news off social media. YouTube is not a place to get your news, okay? TikTok is not a source of news, okay? Facebook is not a source of reliable news source, okay? Uh, uh, Threads and X and those are not reliable sources of news. Don't trust what you read
Right.
on here. Don't
Okay.
trust what you read on these social medias. We got a lot of comments.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
absolutely. So, Janotica says, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. She says what she's seeing and her push is not voter registration because most of the people are registered. We have to actually get them out and go to the polls and vote. And if they don't go to the polls, we need their votes to count absentee. That's what we have to push in our communities. We
That's
have to
true.
get the people to get out and vote. And absentee has been a beautiful opportunity for us to go vote. So thank you, Donatica, for stating that. And then she says, and we are more informed and try to make informed decisions. Do we have any comments from Cassandra or Andrew in the chat that I can't see?
I don't see any other than that you just read. Cassandra, we must help educate our community on facts. Trump said things that ring true to uninformed people. Our black job is to vote. And that is correct. And a lot of things you say, and the economy was so much better under Trump. People say that Biden's economy has Trump lost more jobs than he created. There were fewer jobs when he left office than there was when he came. That's the first time that has happened since Herbert Hoover. Let me drop some knowledge on you guys. And Joe Biden has created more jobs in his economy than the last, I think it says, three presidents
It's,
combined.
that's correct. It's the three. I read that same
The
data.
last three presidents combined, he has created more jobs, and wages are higher as well. And there is inflation, and when we go to being conspiracy theorists, this is where I come in. I believe that some of these companies uh, forced inflation in an attempt to get Donald Trump reelected. But that's just my conspiracy theory.
Well,
Um,
Julia, let me interject. You're absolutely correct because when we look at these major corporations, they are profiting
yeah,
billions and billions of dollars. And it's the same grocery stores that we're going to, the pharmaceutical companies that we're going to, all of these places that we have to have in order to survive, they're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I cringe every time I have to go online to order groceries because I'm so afraid I may not have enough money to get what I need. It is absolutely, it's almost
I,
astronomical.
I
The,
cringe going in the store, Mr. Jackson. I mean, and it's just like, you know, simple things. I went to the store the other day and I just got some face stuff and just basic stuff, not even groceries, just tissue paper, all $187. I started to pass out at the register, but I
it's
couldn't. I
awful.
got to pay for it because I got to have it. But I think some of the companies are pushing that type of thing. Did we have a comment?
Yes, we have a comment from Laura Johnson. She
Okay.
says, I wish I felt our votes mattered, but I really don't. Even though I'm still going to vote, I'm trusting that God is watching and is not pleased with what Trump is promoting. I have to repudiate what you're saying, Laura. Our votes do count.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have a
And we have to
we
remember, Laura, we have to make sure that we don't say some things out loud. Because when you say, I don't think my vote counts, that gives somebody an excuse to stay at home. Because you say, I don't think mine counts, but I'm going to go. But then if you say it enough, I don't think that my vote counts. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. And there are people who hear you that are looking for an excuse not to vote.
well
And so we
my
can't say the quiet parts out loud
well
sometimes.
my vote does count, and I'm going to vote every chance I
I'm going
get
to vote.
because that is a right that our people died and fought so hard for. But that's
Mhm,
what the adversary wants us to say
mhm,
is, oh, you don't matter or your vote doesn't count.
mhm,
How
mhm.
many times have we stood up and stood in line and saw that our vote did count, that took us over, especially here in the state of Georgia?
Where
I've seen it
You know,
firsthand. I've
uh
seen it firsthand that our votes do count.
it does, and I can think about right here. Your friend is fussing at me, Jerry. She's steadily texting me. So she fussing at me on your behalf. But anyway, she
I,
said, "Stop
but I,
talking over Jerry. You keep
exactly.
interrupting
But,
him."
but
That's
we will.
that's your Duchess.
We're
That's
gonna
your Duchess.
she saw my face because she saw it. She felt, she knows. I kept going. I said, okay. I didn't say it. I said, I'm just going. She saw it.
How you
I
gonna
was
be
gonna get,
picking up for Jerry? I thought I was your baby
but
sister. Stop talking over Jerry.
I was gonna get you after this.
I, I,
You see, okay. Okay, so Janotica says, do y'all know how good it felt to have casted a vote when Obama won? It was a feeling I cannot explain.
Mhm.
Janotica, you know, but what we all, let me slide this in. Why we look at the president. The president can only do so much.
Mhm.
If we don't have a supporting Congress and Senate,
Mm.
then it's it's to no avail. Our president can't. I mean,
Can I raise
we
my
need to start.
hand and say something, Mr. Jackson? Can I raise my
Absolutely.
hand? Okay. So and Janonica, I was excited too about Obama. But one of the things that really excited me, that really show how much our vote does count, was when we elected Doug Jones here in Alabama. And you
Yes.
had so many people so excited about it, and so many people going out and voting. And then we turned around right the next 2 years and allowed Tuberville to come in because we said, oh, we can't win, our vote doesn't count. But we had just showed that we could win. We had just showed that we could elect, and we had an incumbent sitting there in the Senate. But when you think your vote doesn't count, when you think you're small, guess what? You're small. So, so, but yeah, we have to know that our vote is crucial. Know that it is important. Know that it counts. We have some other. Let me see, Cassandra. Yes, Jared. Georgia did show us our vote counts. Okay, every other day I'm texting my niece and nephew tidbits of information to keep them informed. Hello, Pastor Summers. How you doing? Thank you, Julia. We need to share those facts with our friends and relatives. Don't assume other people know. Exactly. And make sure that you stay informed. And I know a lot of us don't like to watch the news and watch stuff, but still stay informed. Stay informed. Find you a reliable, trusted source of news, someone that you trust. And they're not going to necessarily always say what you like. Because if someone's always saying what you like to hear, then that's probably not a good source. So you need to find a good trusted source to get your information from and stay informed. Knowledge is power. And we're going to talk next week about Project 2025. And I know the Republicans are saying now that's why Trump got shot, because Democrats talking about 2025, Project 2025. They're saying that in order to keep us from talking about it. No, we're going to keep talking about it because it's the truth. Okay, if we were telling lies, then that would be a different story. But these are not lies. This is the truth. And we're going to keep talking about the truth. So we're going to talk about Project 2025 next week. Hopefully I can get one of my well-informed political experts on here with me next week to help us discuss it. But one of the parts of Project 2025 is they want the FBI to stop labeling the stuff um, as when it's misinformation or disinformation. They want them to stop labeling disinformation. And that way they keep you ignorant about what's going on. And that's another step to propaganda, to where you're like Russia, or to where you're like North Korea, or where you're like China. And all the information is what the government sponsored information lies. And so we have to make sure that we are well informed. We know we have a source of real, true, trusted information, and then we share that information. We don't want to have our brothers and sisters ignorant either. I think had some more. We had some more comments.
Yes, Janotica says we need to have an in-person um, talk about Project 2025. She wants us to be able to do an in-person meeting to dissect and discuss it. That would be a very good idea, and that's something that we can certainly do. We can, I know Juju and I, we can spearhead it. We can get it together, and of course, with your help, we can get it done. But it is time has been far spent, and the time has flown, Julia.
Okay, let me
So,
get Cassandra Clifton. She had one more
okay, thank
thing.
you.
She was saying the discussion tonight was great. Looking forward to sharing info on Project 2025. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, the discussion was absolutely, it was, an hour, 55 minutes is really not enough time, because I'm going to be very honest, I was in my feelings the whole time. I'm very upset about what has transpired. I just cannot believe that our country has gotten to this state, but that's okay. I'm going to stand 10 toes down and I'm going to fight. I'm not going to be, violent, but I'm going to fight. And I'm
Mhm,
going to fight at the ballot box. So
mhm,
um,
mhm,
I'm going to fight at the ballot box. So I have been posting in the chat our announcements. As Juju shared with you, next Sunday, we're going to be discussing Project 2025. What is that? And
mhm,
how is that going to impact us and you as a person? And then next, on the 28th, we're going to talk about from gang member to an at risk advocate, the Reginald Foreman story. I have had an opportunity to witness Reginald Foreman. He is the husband of one of our previous guests. They have a
mhm,
phenomenal
mhm,
program, and I
mhm.
cannot wait for
Yes.
us to hear what he has to say. It's mouth dropping, but it's also a testimony. You don't tell me that bad can't be turned around to good to help others.
Mhm,
And of
mhm,
course, we definitely want you to continue to support that wonderful, divinely guided podcast on YouTube featuring the dynamic mother-daughter duo of Duchess Thomas and Adriel Vinson. And I have posted that in the chat. And please, please, please subscribe to Juju's Dollhouse on the YouTube channel. Keep up with everything that's going on with By Juju for you. You can also catch any editions of Let's Talk that you may have missed. So you have all of that information at your fingertips. And lastly, but not least, it was not on our announcements, but I have to do this because I'm so proud of this young man. Gavin Learns has been competing in the Junior Olympics,
yeah.
and we want to advocate and support him. I am doing a call to action. I've already sent my call to action to my friends, and they know who they are. And several of you are on this chat. I do ask that you please support Gavin in his ability to um, go out and compete in and I think, yeah, I posted it. And
Okay, you
um,
put this.
to
Okay.
compete in Greensboro, North Carolina, we will be accepting donations up until Friday, July
Okay.
26th. Uh, this young man is
Okay.
such a phenomenal young man,
Is he
so
track and
mature.
field, Mr.
Yes,
Jackson?
in track and field, yes.
Okay.
But more importantly, not only is he good in track and field, he's such a mannerable and very respectful young man that's being parented by two great parents and has a sister that does very well in theater and dance and all this other stuff. So I'm so proud of Gavin. So if you would please support Gavin in his efforts to go to Greensboro to compete in the Junior Olympics. This is
Yes.
quite
Yes.
an accomplishment, and I posted the Venmo and the Cash App
Okay.
uh, that will help him. So we appreciate you, Juju. This was a great discussion. Um,
Thank,
I,
thank you.
I really appreciate all of you. Please like and share the video so that people can see what our concerns are. Share it with your friends. Talk to your friends. Talk to your relatives. And to Janatica's point, let's start pushing this absentee voting. Let's go ahead and get these ballots out because
Mhm.
that's a big thing. A lot of our people can't get to the polls, but we can get the polls to them by
Mhm.
doing absentee ballots. And I found that that can do a big deal in elections.
Okay. And Janotica, make sure you reach out to me or I reach out to you and we'll try to see if we can get a space, a place at the library or time to discuss Project 2025, get some good information out about that because it is worth knowing. And we need to vote, but we need to make informed votes, informed decisions.
Absolutely. And no matter what day it is, I'll do my very best to burn up the Interstate 85, the expressway, and come. Even if it's on a weeknight, I'll drive down and be a part of it because that is so important. And then Juju, we can do a live Facebook
Okay.
if necessary.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
so
we can do that. We'll make that happen. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight. It has been a great discussion. Y'all pray for our nation. Pray for that we learn to love one another because love does indeed cover a multitude of sin. Pray that we stop looking at each other as adversaries just because we don't necessarily agree on one or two things. We share more in common than we have that's not in common. And that is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Like Mr. Jackson said, please like and share the video. And don't forget to join us back here next week. We're going to talk about Project 2025. And until then, I am Juju. And that's Jerry Joyce. That's Jerry Jackson. I am Juju, that mountain moving giant slayer. And I'm wishing each and every one of you much love and many blessings. And by Juju for you as a proud sponsor of Hold Up the Light. Don't want to forget
oh
that.
my
Goodbye.
God,
Love
I thought I
y'all.
posted that. Didn't I post that,
I
Juju?
think you posted it, yeah, but
Okay,
I
all
just
right.
wanted to get it,
Well,
say it.
let me post it again just to make sure because I don't want no problems.
Ain't gonna
Cause yes,
ain't gonna be no
Bad
problem.
Juju, Bad Juju is a huge supporter of Hold Up the Light. Absolutely. Thank you, Juju.
All
Love you.
right, thank you, Mr. Jackson. I'm sorry for talking over you. I'll
Oh,
do it
baby, you
again
know I
next
love
week.
you. Hey, it's
Look,
okay. We got
look,
it. We good.
I'll do it again next week. Bye bye.
Bye.